Gettysburg Battle Map number 7, July 3rd, 1863. Lee's plan for the third day. This is the approximate setup of the armies. They're facing off from each other. About a mile apart, the Confederates are dug in pretty well on Seminary Ridge, named after the Lutheran seminary there in the town of Gettysburg. And the Union troops are again in their fishhook position, extended down to the Round Tops. Despite the major losses on the second day of battle, Lee's convinced that God has placed the Union Army in front of him so that he may attack and destroy them. He will not listen to Longstreet's pleas to pull back, find high ground between Gettysburg and Washington, D.C., and force the Union to attack them. He understands that the Union Army has most likely fortified its flanks. Its sides are its strong points. So the high ground at Cemetery and Culp's Hill and the high ground again on the Round Tops is probably strong. So he's sure that the weak point is the center, and that's where he plans to attack. His plan of attack is going to go like this. He's going to order a massive artillery barrage. It's called a pont au feu, a bridge of fire, or also known as a feu d'enfer, a fire of hell. These are obviously French terms for those of you guys who were in French this year. And the reason why U.S. officers at that time used French terminology was a lot of them had gone through the military academies, either West Point or Virginia Military Institute, and they studied the works of Napoleon Bonaparte, the French military leader of the late 1700s, early 1800s. Combined with the Union's artillery response, going back at them, this will be the largest concentration of artillery fired in history up until that point in 1863. It's absolutely massive. People 50 miles away could hear this artillery barrage. Next, the ground assault will begin. So they've softened up the Union lines with that massive artillery barrage, and they're going to send foot soldiers in. George Pickett, very dashing and colorful division commander, he's part of Longstreet's corps, has 15,000 troops. They were some of the last troops to get in place and to arrive in Gettysburg. So they haven't seen any fighting yet. They're fresh. They're ready to fight. He is going to be the lead commander on a major frontal assault on the Union line on Cemetery Ridge. They're going to go there and hopefully smash what's left of the Union Army. Meanwhile, Jeb Stuart, Lee's cavalry officer, who is so desperate to redeem himself after letting Lee down by not being there and being the eyes of Lee's army, he's going to go around to the back of the Union lines, come in from the back, and meet up with Pickett and smash the Union Army. This is the plan. Longstreet is absolutely horrified. He knows this is not going to work. Pickett's men, in order for them to do that ground assault, they're going to have to march 1 mile, okay? From where they start until the Union Army's line is a mile-long march. Pickett's men will be in a line 1 mile wide in an open field. They're totally exposed. Plus, they're marching slightly uphill, which makes it even easier for the Union to pick them off as they're coming across that big field. Unfortunately for Longstreet, he feels like no matter how much he protests, which he does very strongly, he protests, he knows it's not going to matter. He has to order the attack, even if he disagrees. All right, here's the notes then. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to circle Culp's and Cemetery Hill, that location at the top of the Union right flank, and write the word strong. At the bottom, on the Round Tops, circle them and write strong. That's where the Union Army has its strength. Therefore, their weakness, according to Robert E. Lee, would be in the center. And draw those 2 red Confederate arrows coming in towards the Union Army. Also, don't forget to draw in the light the blue fishhook position, so you know that's where the Union Army is. The notes for that particular section: Lee believes that the Union Army has strengthened its flanks, the high ground. Therefore, the weak point is the center, where he plans to hit them. Next, Confederate artillery will bombard the Union lines in a pont-à-feu, a bridge of fire. Once the Union line is softened, the ground assault will begin. So draw the arrows representing the artillery barrage, all going together on Cemetery Ridge. Also draw the Union fishhook position. Next, Pickett will lead 15,000 troops toward a clump of trees on Cemetery Ridge, smashing the Union line. Jeb Stuart and the Confederate cavalry will attack from behind. Longstreet strongly, write that in all caps, make it a little bold if you can, disagrees with Lee's plan and says so. But he doesn't have the strength to call off the attack. He feels he has no choice but to follow orders. Tomorrow, you guys will find out how this plan actually worked. Or did it work?